Welcome back. Thank you so much for all your support so far. It's truly been amazing. We're having a wonderful time doing this, all of us and all the other guys that do this podcast. Look, if you're enjoying the show, please do hit subscribe, particularly if you're watching on YouTube, because it really helps the show and helps us growing it, helps us tell other people, helps YouTube go, this show's been watched. We'll tell other people. Also, 200 likes on the video. Thank you very much. Arsenal 3, Sunderland 0, Zubimendi, Gyökeres twice. This is wonderful. Wonderful, Jim. I'm in a very good mood. You in a good mood?
Yeah, I am. Isn't it just the best feeling when you play early and you get your job done and Aston Villa drop points against Bournemouth? I know that's very specific, but today that's very, very nice.
Beautiful.
It's relieving, isn't it? I think you live on your nerves quite a lot when there is a lot at stake. I think it's more stressful when you're in a race for something where you think we could actually win this. You know, do you remember the days where we're just battling for fourth and we're probably going to get it, and it's actually less stressful. But days like this are very welcome, and I think there is a sense now, because this is the third clean sheet in a row, which we're going to come on to, that we're kind of looking a bit kind of impregnable again, ominous. You know, and a bit ominous is exactly the word I'm looking for. Yeah, and that is a great thing to witness.
It's really nice. It's really relaxing. I felt like the atmosphere was quite good because before the game, Arteta asked the fans to get to their seat at 2:30. I didn't. I'm really sorry, Mikel, but you didn't warn me that Southgate Station would be closed. But he said, bring the atmosphere. You guys said on Friday that 3 p.m. matches can be quite flat, and I sort of agree with you, but it didn't feel like that today.
No, it didn't. I think there was a point, as is so often the case, it was loud at the beginning, wasn't it? And then there was a point where the first 15, 20 minutes were quite cagey. Because I think Sunderland wanted to break the game up. They wanted to make it scrappy and messy, lots of stops and starts, like little fouls here and there, and took a little bit of time with throws and free kicks and stuff like that. So it got a bit quiet then. But I think actually the first half was one where we had a decent number of shots, and we had a decent number of shots from distance, which I thought was quite nice. Yeah. And I think actually that's fun, isn't it? It's fun, and I think that perked the crowd up a bit. And then I think it maintained quite a good level, actually.
I do think it maintained quite a nice atmosphere throughout. I actually have a bit of a bugbear with the Arsenal Ultras.
Yeah,
right? Okay. The Ashburton Army. I think your songs are too wordy. Right? I'm a season ticket holder. I sit above the Ultras.
Yeah.
Right? I look down, I hear the drum, it's lovely, and I really want this. I want this league win to happen for you guys even more than me. Like, I've seen Arsenal win the league 3 times.
Yeah, sure.
2 that I really can remember. So I really want it for you young guys. You need to get this for you. You deserve it. But I just feel like back in the day, right? The songs were simpler.
They were.
Right?
They were.
Nigel Winterburn. Right? Now, you could get Keown. There's only one Keown.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know the words.
Which is astonishing, really, because you mentioned this in the WhatsApp group, and Laura pointed out that you've recently been in Les Miserables.
Yes.
So if it's too much for you, then surely it's too much for anyone.
It's more wordy than Les Miserables, right? I know Les Miserables, right? I don't know the Hincapié song.
No, I don't. You do have to do your homework on it, don't you?
It comes
to the away fans mostly, yeah.
I don't know if are they organising some sort of rehearsal that I can go to. I'm happy to lead it.
Are they doing it in the tunnel, maybe?
Just before they let off the flares. I'm happy to do it. Also, I don't know if it's the design of the Emirates. Very hard for everyone to stay in time.
Yes,
right. Yeah. I sort of want to conduct it. Yeah. Maybe we could get what's he called? Nigel.
Oh,
who's the guy that does the "Come on, you Gunners"?
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I don't know his surname.
But he should get on the screen and conduct it.
I think you're right.
Because we're out of time. I'm sorry.
I think it's the size of the stadium, though, isn't it? I just think it's impossible.
But I don't feel like that happens at other stadiums.
Go around like a Mexican wave vocally somehow.
Although the same thing happens when we do the sort of we're the North Bank, Highbury, because of the sound of speed, the speed of sound.
Yes.
By the time it gets to the other end, it does feel like a bit of a comedy pause.
Yes, sure. Yeah.
I think I'm focusing on this too much.
It
was a good atmosphere.
So it's the Hincapié song and the Gyökeres one as well. I don't know the Gyökeres words. I
don't know the Gabirel one.
That's very wordy as well. The King of Brazil one.
King of Brazil. It all sounds great. I like the tunes. Could somebody email me the words and a backing track so I can rehearse it at home, and then I'll come in and I'll know, because I can't join in, right? Sorry.
You get in touch.
Yeah. So that on the atmosphere. I genuinely, as much as I'm joking, I do think it's hard. Like, because we all know we won the league at Anfield, right? We can all get involved in that. We can all get Arsenal.
We've got Zubimendi, Arteta, all those ones. Yeah,
we know those ones, but there's not enough where you can just quickly jump in.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And I'm sure the away fans, they know all the words. They hand out hymn sheets on the way there. I'm sure. So yes, I do feel like we could maybe do a little bit of work on that. Now. The game was fantastic, right?
Yeah.
I don't feel like it was as easy win as it looks. At times I was a little bit stressed. We started with Gabriel Jesus ahead of Gyökeres. Calafiori came back in for Hincapié. I felt like Calafiori looked quite rusty.
He did, didn't he? He had a couple of moments. He gave away a needless free kick early on that maybe slightly like... kind of look up and go, okay, that's unlike him this season. He had a couple of moments that looked really sort of hairy. It didn't quite work. Lost the ball in a silly place. But I think it's just probably a player coming back from injury, right? And who hasn't played that much, maybe needs a little bit of time to get up to speed. And if he is going to have a game like that, I suppose it's okay that he has it at home, and also again, like it's brilliant that we can just bring Hincapié on, who's been in really good form.
Yes, and he played really well.
He did. He was really solid.
And when I was watching Calafiori making mistakes, I was like, oh, maybe you should have started Hincapié because he's been really good form. But it's like, no, you've got to play these players into form. But then this is Mikel Arteta, right? Like Calafiori made 3 or 4 mistakes. There's a chance now Arteta never plays him ever again.
That's it. Yeah, he could well be bombed out. But yeah, I thought Jesus up front was interesting, and it sort of made sense for me in that it felt like there would be a chance that Sunderland would do the sort of classic low block thing, which actually they didn't, did they? They were a lot more expansive than I expected them to be, and I think he makes sense in that sort of game. I thought he had a good game, didn't he, without having sort of a spectacular one. I thought for me, Zubimendi, man of the match, I would argue. Yeah. Rice was brilliant again, as he so often is, and Havertz was interesting, wasn't he? I thought he grew into the game. Yeah, he had a sort of quiet opening period, but and he missed that header straight away, which is actually a really good chance. But again, I love that he's just sort of marauded down the pitch and taken that shot. Yeah. It's nice that we're shooting from distance. It feels very pointed, that doesn't it? Yes. It feels like we didn't do that often for a long time. We were just pinging him from everywhere today.
It was interesting what Arteta had said about how Eze needs. I know he didn't start, but how Eze needs to be a moment's player.
Yeah.
And we feel like we've got a few of those that can be moments players, but they're not doing it.
Sure.
They're trying this very rigid system where, like in these games, if Havertz very almost scored, Rice very almost scored from outside the box.
Yeah. That would have been a brilliant goal, wouldn't it?
They go in with 3-0 up at half time, and it is the most relaxing second half I've ever seen. Yeah. And that's okay. It's okay to have those shots. Trossard had a couple of shots that, didn't go anywhere near because they were blocked. Yeah. But it was good seeing us have a little go from there.
See, that's why when you say it didn't necessarily feel like a 3-0, I think it did, to be honest, purely because I think it's easy in the stadium, isn't it? That because you are you're preparing for any eventuality, you feel nerves about goals that haven't been threatened. They've had very, very few shots, Sunderland, today, and I think we made a lot of chances. We had a lot of kind of near misses, and actually, I thought the second half, the first half, I thought, okay, we're good for that lead. That was a good half, all business. Second half, I think we really turned the screw and we really controlled Sunderland. They anything they did was because we allowed them to.
Yeah. I think, interestingly, about Gabriel Jesus starting over Gyökeres, I think, unfortunately, if we're choosing between those two, whoever comes on in the second half is going to have an easier go of it if we're 1-0 up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's lovely for Gyökeres to score those 2 goals, but if Jesus comes on like he did against Leeds, he gets a lovely goal because he's coming on against tight defence.
It's a perfect job share, right? If they can rotate the minutes and they can both score, whether they're starting or finishing. Obviously, the 2 examples you mentioned there are them, the players coming off the bench. But the bench is massive in the era of 5 subs. It is a massive
finishers.
Well, absolutely.
They're not subs. They're finishers.
Quite, and that was a kind of big contribution from Gyökeres, and the first goal was exactly what we wanted from him, wasn't it? He hit it so hard, so actually fell over in the process of hitting it, and that was absolutely ideal.
But that's what he does, you know. Like, that's the thing. Because that's down your end, not down my end of the stadium, and I watched him. Oh, he's fallen over, but of course he hits it so hard. There's nothing a keeper can do.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what he does.
Yeah,
and I think unfortunately as well, like. Part of me would still just love to see Kai Havertz, Odegaard and Xhaka. Like but then maybe that's me yearning for last season.
I think that's going to come though, isn't it? And that's part of the fun of having this big squad. And also, I think it's absolutely vital that we kind of mix up what we do for the sake of the opponents. You know, when we had that little blip a little while ago, it felt like we were really, really predictable. But it's opened up again. You know, it looks like we can score from all over the shop. And it's amazing how quickly that feeling can change.
Yeah. And talking of people, you know, shooting outside the box, you know, that's what we got the goal from Zubimendi. And it's like, I love an outside of the boot. It feels very Rosicki.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and also like as much as we did feel in control, I didn't feel like we were getting chance after chance after chance.
No.
So it really did relax the stadium. Not that the stadium felt nervous. I mean, I wasn't sitting there worried, but I was like, we did a goal at some point, and it was lovely the way it came.
Definitely, because I think there's a sense, isn't there, always that ideally you want to be kind of opening teams up and like getting them in a position where they can't live with you. So if you are having relatively speculative shots, fun though they are, there is the sense of like, have we really created anything? So one of those going in off the post as well, which is always so satisfying, so enjoyable. Yeah, it was a sort of nerve setter, and I think it really just established our foothold in the game. And after a while, it was certainly in the second half, you're just like, I don't see Sunderland getting back into this. No. They've not really threatened at all. I thought William Saliba deserves a lot of praise for how he played on a booking.
Now, interesting. Laura also said this in the WhatsApp group. Now, I agree. I think the booking was silly.
Yeah, I also agree with that.
I think that was stupid.
Yeah.
And actually, going back on Calafiori, I think a lot of the stuff, I know he's rusty, but some of the stuff he does is quite immature.
Yes.
And he's only, 22?
22 maybe?
So, like, I think that'll come with his age, but I felt like Saliba's foul on him, and I know Saliba's only young, but he really should be mature by now. A stupid yellow, didn't need to give a yellow card away. And then, yes, he did well, and Brobby is a good player.
And a big handful as well.
He's a big handful, he's quick, and he's unpredictable, and I do think Saliba dealt with him very well, but I felt like there was borderline yellow cards often in the game.
And so I was a bit worried about that, purely because Brobby is so physical and is the type of player who can probably trick you into fouling him because he's quick and he's strong. But that's kind of what I mean. You know, Saliba didn't let that happen, and I thought that was very, very interesting. I thought Mosquera might come on for him for a bit, but you know, he's obviously that's I suppose a sign of quality, isn't it? That the quality of your game does not drop when you've got that hanging over you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I thought it was interesting watching Sunderland because they're so brilliant at home, but not great away. And I wondered what a Xhaka would do in there, where maybe he settles down that team. There was still quite a few misplaced passes. Which,
my God, they passed directly to Declan Rice like 6 or 7 times. It was mad.
I think where we suffer a bit without Odegaard is the press. Like I just don't feel like Havertz doesn't press the same way Odegaard does. And as much as people have thrown a lot of criticism Odegaard's way, but I do feel like he presses so hard.
Yeah.
And I felt like we weren't pressing Sunderland that hard.
Yeah, I agree actually, but ultimately, I don't think it really mattered
like we needed to
so much. Yeah, no, because I suppose they were looking to be a bit more expansive themselves. They did have a few forays kind of up towards us, didn't they? But yeah, Havertz is a bit. He does press, but I know what you mean. It's not in the same way, is it? But I think he's going to be back soon, isn't it? Yeah, he does his doggies.
He does,
Yeah, but I think Odegaard is I think he might be in contention for the next game. So it's brilliant that we're going to have all these options.
Amazing. It's only Marino, the one that's a long-term one out. It's really exciting. What did you make of Madueke's performance?
I thought he had some really good flashes, actually. I think he had a good first half where he was just trouble for them a lot. And that's obviously an important part of like essentially kind of getting the heads of your opponent, even if you don't necessarily have the sort of end product there. I think he faded in the second half. It made sense for him to be the one to come off, for Martinelli to come on. I feel like I know he kind of technically got that goal, but I think he really he needs a goal or an assist soon. I think
he does.
But yeah, I think
and a good assist.
Yeah.
You know, I agree. I don't think it has to be a goal, but just beating your man, but then the assist actually happening.
And I think he's got it in there.
Yeah, totally.
I think he hadn't scored a Premier League goal for about a year, had he? But he did actually get a decent return in all comps for Chelsea last season. So the goals are in there. We've seen it in the Champions League as well. Yeah. I think actually, as you know, Johnny's been keen to see him get a run in the team and see how he can regularly affect games. And I'm kind of enjoying that he's getting that.
But talking of finishers, I'm excited that Martinelli gets to come on the right because he offers so much. And fantastic he was on Tuesday night against Chelsea. Just in his energy, he's got that sort of Alexis Sanchez energy that even after at 96 minutes, he's still. And what he did the same thing when he came on today, and that's what gets us the third goal.
Absolutely, and I mean, it was actually really tight in the end, wasn't it? There was a VAR check. Obviously, it was onside, so it's fine.
Yeah,
So I thought it was great. There was a moment he had on the right as well where he just sucked the ball out of the air and controlled it really, really beautifully. Press that Brazil button. He looks determined, doesn't he? I think he's another one it's one Premier League goal this season for him, isn't it? So he's which sounds mad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And he's another one who could do with it. But I think he made a really, really telling contribution, and he kind of scared them a bit.
I love his personality, and in these games, and this is the way this Arsenal team can get a goal in front, and then he is the perfect person to have on the break. I sort of feel like Jesus is the perfect person to have on the break as well, but obviously he started the game today. But I with Martinelli, that personality to not have been like, because at one point he was the boy, he was the Saka standard,
sure,
and now he's sort of seen as, oh no, you're good off the bench. Mm-hmm. And I would prefer. Arteta probably prefers Trossard on the left.
It seems that way, doesn't it? In the kind of bigger games, I think he trusts the technical security of Trossard. But I think Martinelli's attributes just suit the end of a game, though, don't they? If you're looking to stretch a team, regardless of whether you're...
You hate that as a defender.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, God, really?
And also, because his defensive work is so good, even if you are looking to protect the lead, that also really suits his skill set when he's coming on. So it's kind of unlucky for him, isn't it? In a sense.
He's a jack of all trades.
Absolutely.
Now, Trossard... I was a bit worried at the end because Trossard it looked like one of those ones. Now, I didn't see the close-up, but it looked like one of those ones that was like, oh, that's my season over. Or was it all right? Yeah. He wasn't in tears. He had a nice embrace with Arteta, which looked like, oh, you'll be all right. Well played today. I'll see you in 2 weeks. I don't know.
It was one of those ones where he kind of goes down off the ball, right? So you're always worried about those because it obviously something's, he's felt something in his body. And Rice was limping as well, and at that time I was like, "Oh,
don't tell me that.
No."
I don't need that.
He looked fine though. He played through it and looked absolutely fine. But yeah, Trossard, he had his head in his hands at one point. I was like, "Oh God!" But then very quickly after that, he sat up and looked very matter of fact.
He walked off, so that's always a good sign.
But
right?
It's hard to get a read on what Leandro Trossard is thinking. He is the most Lannister footballer I've ever seen. He looks like an evil prince, so it's very difficult to get a gauge on.
Tired,
yeah, exactly.
But really good and winning. And even when he scores, he doesn't look happy.
No, exactly.
Never seen him smile. I hope he's all right because losing Merino, as much as it's great, we've got such a massive squad and we've been so used to having so many injuries. So then when we were like, the whole team's fit, and then you lose Merino, then if you lose Trossard, obviously Odegaard's out, Saka's out, it is start building up.
Yeah, exactly, and it would be a big blow because then you've got obviously Madueke, Martinelli, and probably Eze. And maybe Jesus, as Jesus and Eze being sort of drafted in. Eze went out to the left at the end of the game, didn't he? I thought he had a couple of moments where if he'd shot earlier, he might have got on the score sheet as well. I'm desperate for him to score.
Almost scored.
Yeah.
That one that narrowly went past.
Sure, yeah.
But I think Eze's got a good chance now because over the next... we play Thursday night against Brentford. Again, a nice gap.
Yeah.
Tuesday to Saturday, we've always had the Chelsea to this game, nice gap. Now we've got Saturday, no excuses gap, Saturday to Thursday, nice. Then we've got the Wigan game. That Eze's surely going to get a chance in that.
You'd think so, yeah.
You think he's going to completely rotate against Wigan. So, it does feel like we are in a good place.
Yeah, I think it does. And again, it comes from those clean sheets, doesn't it? It comes from that sense of technical security. It comes from the sense that, we've kind of navigated our own kind of nervy wobble and are now setting the agenda again. And yeah, it's great, isn't it?
It's
so
great.
much
It's
nicer
exciting
when this happens.
Talking of nice things, Xhaka and Arteta had a nice hug at the end.
I saw that.
I'm pleased about that.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, we were coming out of the stadium and we saw it on the screen.
That's lovely.
Yeah, they were doing this whole thing, but they were both beaming. I
really miss being at Arsenal, that sort of thing. It's so nice. I love Xhaka.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've mentioned this on the pod before, but I DM'd Xhaka after he got booed off. Right, I DM'd Xhaka and I said, I really thought it was awful the way you were treated today, and I hope you come back stronger and show everyone the great player you are.
Oh, and he did,
and he didn't reply.
So,
he didn't reply, but he did reply on the pitch.
He did.
He did his talking on the pitch.
That's better, isn't it?
I'd prefer to reply. Now also Aston Villa dropped points today. I know it's horrible, isn't it? Because part of me is like, why do we talk about Aston Villa dropping points? Yeah. But they did.
Yeah,
they won 1-0 up, and at half time you're thinking, and that's probably their title challenge over, definitely.
Maybe. I think the thing with Villa is that they are very capable of going on good winning runs, aren't they? But this wobble looks
They've
like
not
it's
got a
quite
big enough squad.
No,
They're
that's
still
it,
in
isn't
the
it?
Europa
And
League.
they're unlucky with their transfer window as well, which is a bit weird because they're under sort of some quite odd financial constraints. So I do think like if probably a lot of Aston Villa fans probably are quite fed up with the idea that this is a race between Arsenal and Man City when they're so regularly on the same points as City. But yeah, so I'm thrilled they dropped points today, to be honest, because you just never know, do you? Because like, wouldn't it be the most annoying thing in the world for Unai Emery to be the guy to stop us this year?
There was when they lost to Everton, that was when I relaxed about that.
Yeah,
because when they had that Everton game, and if they would have won that, it'd have been 1 point behind us at that point. It was like, oh god, oh please no. So we're cool. Now, before we go, tomorrow's a big game. So it's Liverpool at home to City. Liverpool started to come into some form.
Always liked them.
Always
been a big fan.
Love the Scousers. Obviously, City go there. Anfield, very difficult place to go. I'd be feeling under pressure if I was a City player.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
I'm concerned that I've convinced myself that Man City are going to lose this, and then I watched quite a good tactical video about how Man City are going to win it.
Right.
And now I'm convinced they are.
Okay.
Can you talk me down?
Well, I know that it's been a bit different this season, hasn't it? But they don't lose at Anfield very often. It's a difficult place to go and to get 3 points. So City are going to have to expend a lot of energy doing that. And even against Newcastle, they gave up a lot of chances in that game.
They
won 3-1.
If
Newcastle had been a bit more clinical, which you would think Newcastle are likely to now that Wirtz and Ekitike are kind of really purring. They both are brilliant as individuals and as a duo.
Yeah.
And Liverpool do look stronger and more consistent. I think they've got a really good chance. They feel more likely to win it to me than City
do. The thing is, right, just let me dream for a second, right? So if Liverpool win that, we're 9 points clear, right? Then we play Brentford. Let's say we win that, but City got Fulham at home, so they win that. We're still 9 points clear. Then we've got our extra game for the Carabao Cup after the Wigan game. So we could be 12 points clear for quite a number of weeks, even if Man City keep winning their games.
I like this dream. I like this dream a lot.
It feels like it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. Listen, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much, Jim, for letting us use your flat yet again. Listen, I'm going to be back on Monday alongside Lucy and Johnny, and we're going to be just basking in more glory, and maybe we'll be 9 points clear still. Listen, thank you so much for joining us, and remember to like and subscribe. We want to hit 200 likes. Share it around, put it in your WhatsApp groups. It's really good for us. Go, I've been listening to this podcast, it's new, but I'm liking it. Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
See you soon.
Bye.